we ever.
Oh, I hate to top that song with a whole hour of wonderful talk, but Erica Hoghill is with me from Louisville Metro Animal Services. Welcome, Erica.
Hi, Tara.
I am so glad to see you. I don't know if you know Nick Pay, but he's going to be on my HomeGrown radio hour soon, and he has kindly allowed me to totally pirate this song.
That's awesome.
Ever since we started Waggin Wednesday. And it's so much fun because, you above all people know how important our animals are to us because you're working for the city agency that takes care of the well-being of animals in Louisville. And I don't know, I love Waggin Wednesday because I'm able to talk to folks like you and bring attention to much-needed dog issues and cat issues. And I haven't had any armadillo issues recently, but horses, geese, whatever you think, anything that has to do with animals, I'm interested in and would love to have guests on to talk about. So welcome to Crescent Hill Radio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure seeing you.
Thank
and
you
cheers,
from our Starbucks.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Yes,
I
we're
love
cheersing
that.
our Starbucks right now. It's the perfect weather for a nice warm drink.
It is so perfect. And what I really love about the fact that you came in today is I've been dealing with some dog issues, not my own, but lost dogs that people need to have rehomed. A dog that got away from a homeless encampment down by the river and was retrieved. I mean, I've just been buried in dog things for the last week. And of course, I couldn't be happier. Yes. But I just wish more people could get a grip on the importance of chipping, tagging, spaying and neutering, not necessarily in that order, spaying and neutering, chipping, tagging their animals. And that's what you guys are all about.
Yes, absolutely. All of those things are very important. Microchipping, that makes me think about something that happened today at Louisville Metro Animal Services. This lovely couple brought in this dog that they found, and they held on to that dog for 5 days trying to find its owner. They could tell that it was a dog that belonged to someone because it was very well-mannered, knew how to sit, got along with their other dogs, but they said they wanted to keep it, but they just couldn't.
Right.
And the news actually happened to be at LMAS when they dropped this dog off. So they talked to the reporter, said, will you please put this dog's face on camera in case its owner out there happens to be watching and sees and knows it's at LMAS.
Yeah.
The sad story is the dog was not microchipped. So that just really helps highlight the importance of microchipping.
Yeah.
I mean, these animals mean so much to their owners, but if they get away, how do you reconnect the two?
Well, you and I both know the answer is, after microchipping is Facebook. Mm-hmm. Because we have all in this world who love animals have reconnected animals and their owners through Facebook. And I think that one of the key things, and here's the deal too with the news, and I feel so bad about this, but it's true. If the news put one dog on, then they'd be putting out thousands. They'd be inundated with requests because just in the last 5 days, as I said, I've dealt with 2 lost dogs and one that needs to be rehomed, and 2 that need to be rehomed. I forgot about the other lost dog, and I don't think these things would have happened had the dogs been appropriately identified, so to speak. And so let's talk a little bit about some of the ways that we can get lost dogs back to their parents.
Okay.
Chipping.
Yep.
Key. Explain to people what a microchip does.
So a microchip really identifies who owns that dog. So if a dog gets loose, if it runs away, if it somehow ends up in our care or the care of a vet, there's a microchip that is implanted kind of in the shoulder area near the neck of the dog. And there are these really nifty gadgets, these technology devices that will just scan the microchip and it pops up the information on a computer or on that device there, and it will connect the dog to its owner, and LMAS will contact the owner, and the owner comes and picks the dog up, and there's a happy ending there.
Kind
usually.
of like Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games.
Yes.
Microchipping. Now there's one flaw in our logic. If you don't register with like pet wants or whatever it's called, pet forward, pet something on your tags, then that's not going to be a good thing if you don't know what the microchip is, if you don't know the microchip is there. So if you don't go to a vet, check to see if the dog is microchipped, and you're looking at the dog's tags and it says, this is my dog and it's whatever, you've got to register those animals through that particular organization in order for it to be identified. and then you have to microchip it, and then you need to write the dog's name across its collar. Jeez, I could think of 5,000 things to do.
I know. I have a nifty collar right now that my dad bought for us, and it has our dog's name just woven into the collar. So that's pretty
That's
cool.
brilliant.
Yeah. And the phone number. Our phone number
That's
is on there
brilliant
as well.
Well, the 2 dogs that I was part of returning to their home today had dug under the fence. And as I walked through the backyard with this person, I noticed concrete blocks in various places along the fence and chicken wire. And she'd tried her best to secure these little renegade escape artists. And every time she would secure another place, they'd find yet another weakness in the Alcatraz fence, you know? So that's one of the big problems is dogs will go under, over, through, around to get out. So, you know, there are things that can be done to prevent that. But once they do get out, we want to do everything we can to return them to their homes.
Exactly.
That's
and
the key.
microchipping is key. Microchipping is key. Absolutely.
There are different things that you guys do that actually, you actually have like rabies vaccinations opportunities and microchipping opportunities for very, very cheap at different events throughout the year. How much would it normally cost us to go get a microchip, say, and a rabies shot, which are the 2 minimal things that you should do for a dog?
Tara,
Yes,
I should know the answer to this, but you're asking me a question I do not know the answer to.
I
But
can't
what
believe that.
What I can tell people to do is to go to our website.
Good idea.
And it should be listed there.
You should have told me to do that. Tara, you can find this information on our website, you idiot. Stop asking me questions that are available. Is it Louisville Metro Animal Services?
You know what I do is I just Google Louisville Metro Animal Services because it's kind of a complicated long email address.
Oh, yeah, because it's a government
tied
agency.
to Okay. So that's really the easiest way to access it.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
And the key, too, is let's say an animal gets to you. It's a thought that people have that is terrifying, that if a dog goes to Metro Animal Services, that's it.
No.
I know that's not true.
I would not work for an agency that did that to the animals. And something I will tell people, and I was blown away with so far in my time at LMAS when I learned this, every single employee there is incredibly compassionate.
I know
They're
they are.
animal advocates. They fight for these animals. They do everything within their power to show these animals love and compassion on a daily basis. And it's just amazing. I could praise them all day.
It's always been that way.
The last thing we want to do at LMAS is euthanize an animal. And when it does come down to that, it's heartbreaking for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And typically the reasons that those animals are euthanized are for aggressive behavior.
Right.
We don't want an animal to get out into the community and really hurt somebody
That's
or
right.
another animal. So we have to take precautions, and sadly, sometimes the animals are euthanized because of that aggressive behavior.
Right.
If an animal is very, very ill,
Right.
we can't let it linger on in pain.
No.
I mean,
We would all make that decision.
pet owners don't do that.
That's
yeah.
right.
So we're forced to make that decision there too. It's on a very rare occasion that we ever euthanize for time and space. And something that I've learned in my time so far at LMAS is that we are a very unique shelter in the fact that we are an open shelter. And do you know what that means, Tara?
I don't, but I can look it up on your website and find out.
Just look it all up. You know
I
what?
will. I found it. It's Animal Services, Louisville.
So, as it being,
Look, it's right there.
There we go. We finally found it. Yay!
Okay, what's an open shelter?
So an open shelter means that we have to, by law, accept every domesticated animal that someone hands over to us.
Good grief.
And I will tell you that on a daily basis, somebody is waiting outside of our gate before we've opened, ready to surrender an animal. It could be for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
It could be because they just can't afford the animal anymore. A relative recently passed away and there's nobody left to care for the animal. Someone was moved into a nursing home. They can't care for the animal anymore. And then, unfortunately, there are people who just want to hand over their animals.
Let's just go through some of those excuses, because the ones that you gave are very good, legitimate excuses. The ones that I don't like are, well, I've moved into an apartment complex that doesn't take dogs. Really? Well, did you move into an apartment complex that doesn't take children? Because you really should rehome your children as well. Second one. My dogs don't match the new living room suit that I just got. This is the truth.
Okay, I was going to laugh because
No,
I thought
this
was
is absolutely, God's honor, I would not make up an excuse when I'm talking to you, the PIO for Louisville Metro Animal Services, because you could have me thrown in jail. Very simple, for lying. So
I can do that?
Yes, you can. You have a badge, don't you?
Not yet. It's been
And a
we've
nightstick?
talked about it.
And the third excuse, which is always the thing that absolutely kills me, is I don't have time for my dog. I don't have time for the dog anymore. Well, you know what? That's something that people need to think about before they adopt an animal. And I know you guys go through a rigorous vetting process before you allow someone to take an animal out of there.
You need to make sure it's a right match, and we need to make sure that people are ready and willing to understand the huge commitment that they're walking into. I mean, it's a lifetime commitment.
It's like having a baby.
It's just like having a child. If you take some time to prepare and plan for having a child, it's the same thing. Sometimes they're a little more needy. They can be. I don't want to offend any mothers out there, but I am a dog mom, and I know how much time and love it takes to really give proper care for these animals.
Yeah, and getting baby gates and making sure that the yards are secure, and the cleanliness factor is a huge one.
And skipping out on some maybe fun opportunities because you've got to be home with your animal. You have to be home with your pet.
I would so much rather be home with my 3 dogs than anywhere else in the world.
Absolutely.
And they have carried me through a huge part of my life, and I'm so grateful that they have. I'm going to play a quick song for you from one of our favorite local artists at this very moment, because my favorites change from minute to minute. I'm just that fickle. But this is My Morning Jacket, Evil Urges. Album, Evil Urges, on Crescent Hill Radio's Waggin Wednesday. Hi, I'm Tara Bassett, and we are here in the studios with Erica Coghill, who has gone to work for Louisville Metro Animal Services after a storied career at Channel 32. WLKY 32 is the number that you can see her on the old clips. So just go to WLKY 32. They have an entire area that is set aside on the website just for Erica.
Is that still on there?
I think it is. And you're paying big bucks to have it on there, aren't you? Tell me about the change from media to animals. You're always in animals, but tell me about the change from television to doing what you're doing now.
Well, the great thing is I was able to take a lot of my communication skills with me, those valuable skills. Today, I was running around, kept very busy, just like we are kept busy in the media business.
Yes.
I think some of us are adrenaline junkies in the media business. You kind of thrive off of rushing from place to place and that busy schedule.
Kind of like your Christmas shopping all year.
Yeah,
every day.
I haven't even done that yet. So that's going to be me rushing to get
on Amazon. You'll be all set.
Yeah, there we go. And some of my friends said, well, aren't you going to be bored sitting at a desk all the time? And that is not at all the case. But the most important thing, the reason why I got into this business, I'm a huge animal lover. And I mean, can you beat being able to hang out with animals all day and know that you're making a difference in their lives?
Absolutely not.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
I love what I'm doing. I absolutely love it.
We got the answer to the question, and the question is, the question I asked and I want to know the answer to is, how can people get inexpensive rabies and microchips? And the answer is that there are typically clinics that are held various times of the year. You think the next one's going to be in the spring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically, but it's not set in stone, so don't hold us to that.
Right.
But yeah, you threw me off with the question, Tara, because there wasn't really an absolute answer on that. Because just to be clear, people cannot walk into our shelter right now and pay for rabies vaccines or multiple other vaccines.
That may be in the future.
Maybe in the future we could grow to that, but right now we're not able to offer that service.
You're a little busy.
We are very busy, which takes us back to the open shelter that we were talking about. I mean, we just as we adopt animals out, we've always got more coming in.
Right.
And when they come through our doors, they have to be worked up, which means they need to go through our vet staff to make sure that they are healthy. If they're not healthy, we need to nurse them back to health. The animals need to be spayed. They need to be neutered. They need to be microchipped. They need to be vaccinated. We do this for every single animal
that's amazing.
that comes through our doors.
Yeah. $8 is what it would typically cost for a rabies shot. $9 for a license. $50, though, for an unaltered pet. This is amazing. And a microchip about $25. Now, senior citizens get discounts on license fees. And you can get combinations of all of these. So basically, you have the opportunity at least a couple of times a year for this to happen. LMAS will have a notification on their website, which is where we found the answer to this question. It's under city events, and it will tell you about the low-cost rabies and licensing and everything else clinics. So that's good to have. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. And as Erica just said, just Google Louisville Metro Animal Services, because the extension on this website is like 50 characters because it's a government agency.
Right. It's attached to the government website, and it's a little difficult to memorize. So the easiest thing to do, go to Google Louisville Metro Animal Services. It'll take you right there.
Now, something happened the other day, and I know you guys were a part of it, and I also know that you work with a lot of rescues, and that you have rescues coming in and pulling animals, which means taking them out of a larger shelter and working to get them adopted from their particular rescue. And one of the things that happened the other day was that a friend of mine whose name is also Tara, strangely enough, and she even pronounces it the right way.
Great.
So Tara Remington finds a dog. She's a beautiful artist, and she's been working on this mural down on Story Avenue for months. She sees this beautiful dog running around, and she catches her, and she texted me because she knows that I'm a nut job for animals. So she said, what do I do? And so I put out the word to a few key people, and the next thing we know is, as a result of posting on Louisville Lost and Found Pets, Louisville Metro Lost and Found Pets, Kentuckiana Lost and Found Pets, everything else I can imagine, one sends me a post from the other, and it's a guy who has seen a gentleman running frantically through Butchertown looking for his lost dog. And the guy said he told me he lived in Camp Campbell, which is a homeless enclave down on the river. So he said she has a red tag on, and it says, "My dog eats first." So I called Tara back, and she says, yes, indeed, she does have a red tag with "My dog eats first." So after a series of wonderful things, Wendy Manganaro from Fed with Faith, which goes out and feeds homeless people, and My Dog Eats First sometimes works in cooperation with them by feeding the animals of the homeless, which is so cool. These combined efforts resulted in finding the gentleman, knowing where he lived, and connecting with him, and the dog being brought to Metro Animal Services, where you guys have put her through, all of the steps, the protocols necessary, and My Dog Eats First pays for that, which is amazing when you stop to think about it. And Louisville Metro Animal Services always supportive of all of the rescues work. And as a matter of fact, I think some of your employees probably rescue dogs themselves, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I know 2 employees who had their own rescue. That's how involved our employees are in saving animals' lives.
Yeah.
I mean, they came from working in rescues, and they're working at LMAS now to have more of a direct impact in saving these animals' lives.
Which is pretty phenomenal when you stop to think about it. Erica Coghill is in the studio with us at 25 minutes past 4. By the way, it's 34 degrees, and it feels like summer after this morning down at the dog park.
Well, that's something we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Bring your animals inside tonight, people. Bring your pets inside.
Yes.
I don't want to make any farmers angry. Bring your pets inside this evening.
Horses need to be stabled with plenty of straw. You can blanket them.
Refresh the water because it will freeze.
Yep. I remember going out and smacking the water with a hammer when I was a kid in the horse troughs.
Really?
And I lived in Oregon, and it was a maritime climate, so it didn't freeze that frequently. But that's a big thing. You don't stop to think about horses needing water in the winter, but they do.
And actually, I'm working on writing something up on this very issue, and I was talking with one of our veterinarians today, and she said that something people don't think about, these animals can actually dehydrate and pass away because rather than freezing to death, they can dehydrate because their water's frozen. They can't get enough water, and they need to eat more this time of year as well.
People don't understand that leaving an outside dog outside in temperatures in the teens can cause a very painful death. It's the same pain as is suffered by an animal left in a car in the roasting summer. So we really encourage people, even if you don't have dogs that are typically indoor dogs, find a place that's, going to keep your house clean, whatever you're worried about. Bring them in, give them a blanket, let them stay, or make sure they have an insulated dog house, which is another key. Because if they have safety and warmth even outside, that's okay too, as long as they're going to be taken care of with straw or with insulation, or a little curtain across the front of the doghouse would be really nice.
Right, to keep the wind out.
Exactly.
Because when that wind comes in, it bites. I mean, imagine how you would feel outside.
Yeah.
The way that you feel when you're cold, and if you were forced to sleep outside tonight, that's the agony and the pain that pet or animal is going to go through tonight. And don't put them through that.
No.
I mean, all they want to do is please us and provide companionship. Please remember your pets tonight, people. Please bring them in.
Yeah, and there are therapy ponies, minis, that are just like therapy dogs and service dogs. So there's this one named Easy Strider, and Tracy Sproul's owns him, and he goes by Strider Claus during this season. And I'm sitting in Starbucks, of all things, last Christmas, and in comes this miniature horse, and he's decorated in all of his glory as Santa Claus. And I said, "What in the world?" She says, "This is Strider Claus." And he goes to hospitals, and he goes to nursing homes, and he goes to schools, and the children read to him. And he's just the most beautiful, low-key, happy little miniature horse. And that's like 36 inches at the withers and below. So these are tiny. These are almost the size of my Brady. Just think about it. So anything like that, any kind of animal that you have, you can bring minis into the house.
Tara, we actually, the Shively Police Department came upon a stray pot-bellied pig today. Okay? Brought it to LMAS, and it was actually a life-saving thing that happened today. If that pot-bellied pig would have continued to roam the streets tonight, it likely would not have survived, because the temperatures are going to get just too cold, dangerously cold for pets.
How big was this pot-bellied pig? Was it a baby or was it full-grown? I mean, is it like 150 pounds, or is it still like...
It wasn't massive. If I had to guess, I would say it probably weighs about 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got me... I'm wearing a skirt and some nice stockings today, and I went out to visit with
nice.
him. They were. I went out to visit him, and he rubbed his snout all over my legs, and I had mud all over them.
Where do you suppose he could have come from?
I'm not quite sure, but I was told that he definitely belongs to someone.
And how did
he's
he
a
get
pet.
out? Yeah, how did a pot-bellied pig get out? I wonder if they could dig under fences like these two dogs that we found today.
He could do some work with his snout. I mean, he really rubbed that snout all over my legs, so I could see him digging a nice little hole somewhere with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, her pantyhose are shredded. There is nothing covering her legs at this point. Erica Coggle's in the studio with us. We're going to tell you where you can go to find some of the best live music in town tonight, just in case you haven't had a chance to look it up yourself.
Let's take a look at the WCHQ concert view for Wednesday, December 14th.
And hit the icon at the top of the screen that says, List your gig.
Oh, thanks so much, Bryce and Kevin. Appreciate you. This is a great way for you guys to get out and have some fun. You will be able to find all the live music that you want just by going on to Crescent Hill Radio's website, or you can just listen into the WCHQ Concert View. And Bryce and Kevin have this wonderful show called The Morning Jam, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays. So with 33 degrees, as Erica Coggill and I were just talking about, it's important to bring your animals inside tonight. It's also going to be kind of a roller coaster weather pattern here, and we want to be sure to watch out for those changes, because sometimes if we think, oh, wow, it's warm and summery, yeah, it doesn't always stay that way. The next 2 days, we're going to have temperatures in the mid-30s. It looks like, though, tomorrow's high is going to be 22. So then we move up. We got 60 on Saturday, back to 30 on Sunday, up, down, and you just have to really keep an eye on your weather forecast. Watch any of the broadcast stations, look online, do anything you have to do. But, tonight it's going to be bitter, and tomorrow it's going to be bitter during the day and bitter at night, and then we'll start to feel like it's relative summer again for a day. And that's going to be it.
It is a roller coaster. That's the perfect way to describe it.
I know. Erica Coghill is the new... Are you the public information officer? Is that what they call you, or is there a nicer term?
it's all the same, but the term that I go by is communications
Queen of the dogs and cats.
Yes, I like that. Communications specialist. That's my official title.
All right. She left the media to get into Metro Animal Services, and looks like she's happier than she could ever be.
I am.
And that's just an awesome thing. And it's also a calling. I mean, those of us who have multiple animals, there's a reason why. And it's because we, as you and I were just talking, we're animal moms. We love our pets as if they were our children, and to some of us, they are our children. And I love the fact that people want to take dogs in, and I love the fact that people call every dog that they have a rescue, which may or may not be true. I think that they rescue us.
Absolutely.
I also know that when somebody asks me that, I say, yeah, they came from the Humane Society. I don't say I rescued them, because it sounds just kind of dramatic to me. And it's because I know people who take in every dog that they get a chance to take in, and then pretty soon they've got their own little dog pound. And that's irresponsible. So there are laws governing how many animals we can actually have before we have to have a kennel license. That information can also be obtained at Louisville Metro Animal Services website, and I strongly suggest that people read it, because if you don't read it, you could be in a situation where the popos come knocking at your door and say, hey, your neighbors are complaining about the 50 dogs that you have in your yard and in your house.
And people begin with good intentions. They want to save these animals, but it gets out of control, and one person or even just two people, they cannot take care of that many animals and provide them all the care they need.
So when you get into a situation where something's wrong and you need to get word to Louisville Metro Animal Services about something that's happening with an animal, what's the procedure? You obviously call out to Louisville Metro Animal Services, and you can call 311 to get that number, or we can just, we can give the number 47 times and you're not going to remember it. But I say call 311, ask for Louisville Metro Animal Services, and say, here's the deal, Louisville Metro Animal Services. I want you to send an officer to deal with this problem. How likely is it that with the limited number of officers that are available from Louisville Metro Animal Services, that they will show up at your door within an hour?
It depends what the issue is. We have priority calls. So we categorize everything by priority, number 1, 2, 3. And the officers do their best to make it out there as fast as possible.
But people have unrealistic expectations, really. Because how many animal control officers do you have on staff right now?
We just hired some, so I can't give you an exact number, but if I had to give a ballpark figure, I would say we have about 10.
Yeah. And how many police officers do we have in the city? So there's no comparison. And so that's why people need to have reasonable expectations of what can be done. However, if there's a vicious dog, police can be called.
Right. Exactly.
That's a key. So if you run into an issue where you've got a dog that's behaving strangely and you're afraid of it and it's making aggressive moves toward you and it's loose on the street and you don't know what to do, that's a 911 call. But if you are asking Louisville Metro Animal Services to send an officer, patience is a key, and I'll tell you why. And I really respect this one officer for what he did for me. I reported a loose dog that I found the home of and took to talk to the man. And the man was like, she gets out all the time. And, I don't really know what to do with her. And I said, well, if you don't want her, give her to me and I'll take care of it. I'll get her someplace where she's going to be safe. No, I don't want to do that. And I called Metro Animal Services and I said, hey, this guy is obviously not at all concerned about his old girl roaming the streets and almost getting hit. The officer came out and spoke to him. The guy stonewalled him totally. And so the officer called me back twice to follow up with me. Once on a weekend, which really surprised me and amazed me. And he said, the next step would be you taking out a statement, basically giving us a statement that we would use to take possession of the dog. And so this is the lengths to which Louisville Metro Animal Services will go on behalf of one animal.
Absolutely.
With 10 animal control officers on the streets.
It's a process. They really, really care about these animals, and they take every step that needs to be taken.
Well, and it's kind of like when they do come out to catch a loose dog, and I've seen them do it before, they treat it with respect. I mean, I don't want to anthropomorphize too much, but they treat the animals with respect. And even though they have to sometimes use the wire on the end of the stick, that's for their safety and for the safety of the animal. And when they put them in what we jokingly call the paddy wagon, but they put them in their trucks and they take them back to animal services, the animals are processed. They're, everything, as you just said, is taken care of, is making sure that they're healthy, making sure that they're going to be hopefully able to be adopted and put into a clean and neat area of Louisville Metro Animal Services at Manslick. Tell me about the process of moving them over to Animal House on Newburgh Road, where a lot of the adoptable animals go immediately.
So once the animals come to our Manslick location, which is our animal care facility,
Right.
I know it can be a little confusing because when people think of LMAS, they assume it's just one building and everything's taken care of there. Well, we operate out of 2 locations. Our Animal House Adoption Center, which is at 3516 Newburgh Road. If you're looking to adopt an animal, stop by. We have a $25 adoption special this month, the month of December. Now is the time to adopt. Anyway, sorry
it's just
to
outside
distract.
the Waterson Expressway, too, and it's almost directly across the street from the mall on Bardstown Road.
Thank you.
The old mall on Bardstown Road.
That makes
Bardstown
it
Mall.
easy.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So we have our Animal House Adoption Center, and then we have our Animal Care Center. So our Animal Care Center is off Manslick Road. That is where our intake facility is. That's
Right.
where people can surrender animals. That's where our animal control officers operate out of, where they pick up strays, respond to calls of neglect, and really take in those animals. So once they come through our doors, they then go over to our vet staff, where they check the animal out, see what kind of condition it's in, nurse it back to health if need be. They're spayed, they're neutered, they're microchipped, they're brought up to date on shots, and then they are placed into the kennels. If it's a stray, it's on a 5-day stray hold. So we give some time for an owner to come back and reclaim their animal
Before it goes potentially to Animal House.
up for adoption.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
So then as our kennels empty out over at the adoption center, we move those animals that have been worked up from the Manslick Road location over to the Animal House Adoption Center.
Okay, I'm very impressed by something that I have just discovered and did not know existed on the Louisville Metro Animal Services page, and that is a section that literally has a click point for reporting or searching for lost and found animals. You can report a found dog, you can register your dog as lost, you can see the latest reported found dogs, and the dogs that have been reported by their owners lost, and then cats the same thing. And it's very clever because if you click on one area, you can fill out this little paper form. It's not a paper form. You can fill out a little online form, and it will basically immediately register your animal as lost. And that is the coolest thing ever because, there are all these sites that are wonderful, but to have this is like the central point that everything revolves around, Louisville Metro Animal Services. And everybody knows you're there. And if you don't know it, we're telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So if we could work this out where everybody could go to the page and go, oh my God, my dog is lost, or hey, look what I found today. Does anybody own it? I just clicked on register your dog is lost. I'm sorry, I did the other one. Let me see. I went to see the latest reported found dogs, and there are like 86 matches. I know your shelter animals, your shelter workers are probably doing all this picture taking and descriptions, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Along with all the other things that they're doing.
Mm-hmm. It's a massive undertaking.
It is.
Everything that they do.
So this one, this really cute little dog says, I'm a spayed female, black whippet mix. The shelter staff thinks I'm about 3. And this dog has been at the shelter only today. And it's got an ID number attached. Go ahead, what?
This third guy is the one I was talking about.
Aw.
That nice couple dropped this dog off today. He's
Unaltered-
such a sweet dog.
Unaltered male, black and brown Rottweiler. The shelter staff thinks I'm about 10 months old. Oh, it came in today.
Mm-hmm.
And so, these are animals that need to be picked up. If you have lost a dog or a cat, although cats are harder to find, they really are. They're very sneaky. They can hide in places that we would never think of. So if you have a lost animal, please Google Louisville Metro Animal Services and go to these pages, because the clicks are so easy, and your dog might be there and you might not even know it, and it will be so simple to claim them.
Yeah.
There are pages and pages of animals who have been lost, and then the owners can report the animals lost as well, which is a really amazing thing. So you guys have done a great job updating your website. Does that have anything to do with your new director, do you think, Ozzy?
Ozzy's incredible.
I've
Yeah.
talked to him. I think he is too.
He has so many goals for LMAS, and every day he's preaching to everybody about always making things better and bigger and better, and how can we continue to move forward. He's
Yeah.
extremely enthusiastic and passionate about what he does, and it motivates the rest of the staff.
Well, and he's probably a little bit of a drill sergeant because he's a former police officer.
Yeah, but he's so much fun.
He's a fun drill
he's
sergeant.
a fun drill sergeant. I don't think anybody feels too intimidated by him.
Well, the organizational aspects of LMAS have always been a challenge to
Mm-hmm.
anybody who comes in there.
And that's going to improve, or I'm not sure in what regard.
Just it's such a huge undertaking, and it's hard to manage.
Right.
And he's making it a lot easier.
And our new facility is going to really improve that, because there's that confusion between our Manslick Road location, our Newburgh Road location. Well, we're in the process of creating a new facility that will stand right next to the Newburgh Road location, our animal adoption center. And that's where that Manslick Road animal care facility is going to move over to the Newburgh Road location. So everything will be right there in the same location, not in the same building, but right next door to one another. It'll be a lot easier.
That's been a dream for a long time of animal lovers in the city, is to have those two places right next to each other, so that everybody can be together. Everybody can have an easy trip out to one place on Newburgh Road outside the Waterston Expressway. And Animal House was a long time coming as well. And it's a beautiful facility.
Yeah.
When you walk in, it's airy, it's tall, it's like a great big lodge in the mountains of Montana. And very beautiful pet suites that are in there. And there's a huge play yard. You really could use the help of volunteers.
Absolutely.
I know, at Animal House. You don't use them at Manslick, right? Or do you?
We do.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. We have volunteers come out and walk the dogs.
Okay.
It's a scary situation for the dogs, regardless of how much love and compassion our employees put into caring for these animals. It's scary. They're taken out of their normal routine and environment, and they're placed in a shelter, and they don't understand why they're there, what's going on, what's going to happen to them.
Where their family is.
Where's my family? What is this place? I don't understand. So the volunteers come out and they walk the dogs, and that's great to get them out of their kennels and get them out into a natural environment. And our employees wish that they had time to just walk the dogs all day and give them all of them personal attention at the same time. But they're so busy with other tasks.
Well,
so
they're cleaning.
They're
Cleaning,
sanitizing.
cleaning.
Yeah, they're cleaning. They're performing surgeries on the animals. They're handling intakes. I mean, there's just so much to be done. So that's where the volunteers really can come into play and really, really benefit these animals.
And then if you come to the Animal House, there's a kitten room that is so funny. And, well, there's one at Manslick, too, obviously. There are kittens in both locations. But you are welcome to come in and visit the kittens in the kitten room and play with them. And there are dozens of them at any given time. Yeah. Some of them are in the big kitten room, and some of them are in the little kitten suites. And that's always fun to do. But the animals at both locations need human touch more than anything. And to be able to come out and volunteer, even if it's an hour a week or an hour a month, I mean, any amount of time. How do we get ourselves registered to be volunteers, and what kind of training do we have to undergo to be able to do it?
Well, we have a volunteer coordinator.
Okay.
Her name is Lori Crook, and I don't know if her information is posted on our website.
But we can call the main number.
We
which
can
is
call
also
the 473-PETS.
Yep.
And inquire about volunteering, and you'll fill out an application, and Lori can kind of handle it from there. And we always are welcoming volunteers. We need those. Our animals need it.
And you're not required to do any number of days. You can do whatever days that are possible for you. And if we get enough people to kind of all band together, then a lot of hours can be covered, because the stress of being in a shelter, even if it's a nice facility, and people are taking good care of you, the stress on an animal is absolutely incredible. And we want to try to remove as much stress as possible. Having human contact and having them come in and play, and being able to get out in that big yard at Animal House and chase a ball or whatever, it relieves the stress.
And stress, especially for cats, can lead to illness. So that interaction is very important.
Yeah, I think so too. We, by the way, are talking with Erica Coghill in case anybody was interested. How do you say your name? Do you say Coghill?
Coghill.
You do.
Fred Cowgill.
And Coghill and Cowgill.
He's confused a lot of people on my name. No, everybody, we were both working at the same news station.
Right.
So, and our last names are very unique. So people just assumed everybody was named Cowgill. So a lot of people think my last name is Cowgill. It's Coghill, but call me whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me.
It's like I had the city pretty well trained on how to pronounce Tara, and then the PGA came for the first time, and the woman who was the person who came and did all of the setup for the PGA's name was Tara Gunther. And
she ruined it for you.
She totally ruined it for me. And so we were interviewing. I was interviewing her, or she was interviewing me. Somehow we were on camera together, and we started it out by saying, I'm Tara. And I'm Tara. And don't screw it up and don't confuse us. Whatever it was. I think she might still live in town, but I don't know. Somebody will tell me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I was saying your name right, because after an hour, that's pretty important.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes,
that's okay.
it is.
I wouldn't have. I don't mind.
We are going to continue talking with Erica, but I want to promote just a few moments of what's going to happen to you in the next hour. You're going to be hit by a little tornado called Christian Adelberg, and several of the players from Kentucky Shakespeare. And Nick Kovault is also coming in. He's the new director of the Governor's School for the Arts, which is very exciting, because the Governor's School is an opportunity for people in high school to go and immerse themselves in their particular medium of art over a period of, I think, a month now in Lexington. I think they hold it at Transylvania. But they go for a month in the summer, and they learn so much about their art form. And it's taught by people, with advanced degrees. It's a wonderful opportunity to learn, and you have to be selected through a very rigorous process to become a candidate for Governor's School. So Nick Kovault's going to come in and talk to us, and he's the new director. Very exciting to be able to meet him and hear what he has to say about the Governor's School for the Arts, which happens to be housed within the Kentucky Center for the Arts. And then Christian's bringing me all these people today. He's just funny as the dickens. But he's also bringing in a couple of people from Kentucky Shakespeare, because they're going to get ready and in the next few weeks, I think, do Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, which is one of my favorite plays. It's hilarious to think about it, because it was done by the Alley not too long ago, and I'm going to be going back and seeing it again. This is a quick personal promo for my friends at Bunbury. They came in on Monday, and they're awesome. And Jürgen Tossman is the guy who runs Bunbury, and they have one weekend left on the Santaland Diaries. And the Santaland Diaries is the story of David Sedaris's tenure as Crumpet the Elf in the Macy's Santaland over a couple of seasons. And if you've never read David Sedaris, if you've never seen David Sedaris or heard him reading his own books, please understand that the Santaland Diaries may be the biggest laugh of your Christmas season. And it's a one-man show, but he plays numerous characters. And the guy's name is Carl Seitz. He's hilariously funny. I'm going to go on Thursday night, and tickets are $22, but it's well worth your time, because when he was in here for an hour, I laughed myself silly. So I would just encourage everybody who has the opportunity to go to that website and check out Bunbury Theater, but mostly to look for the opportunity to see Santaland Diaries in its last weekend here. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday shows at 7:30, Sunday show at 2:30, and maybe I will see you there on Thursday. So Erica Coghill is with us in the studio from Louisville Metro Animal Services, and we've been talking about the ins and outs of Louisville Metro Animal Services, because there's way too much to cover in one day. Mm-hmm. And I asked Erica to come in today solo, because I just didn't want her to have to, bring a bunch of animals. Plus, you've got somewhere to go right after this, right?
I do.
It would be hard to take a litter of kittens with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think that'd work out.
That wouldn't work
I'd
out
love
too well.
to. Wouldn't that be great if we could just
I
take our
know.
pets? Anywhere.
Just take a backpack full of kittens. Yeah. But next time she comes in, she's going to bring me kittens or puppies.
Yes, I
or
will.
a large black dog. Those are the hardest.
What would you like for me to bring?
Well, I'd like you to bring me anything because I know that large black dogs are the hardest animals to adopt. And there are several reasons for that. They're big. They're black. They fade into the crates that they are kept in. And there's an unvalidated fear of black large dogs. What is with that? People are scared of them.
I know.
It's sick.
I know.
I love them.
We all need to open our minds because so many of these animals are just so sweet. It doesn't matter what they look like.
The two dogs I found today on Frankfurt Avenue were large black dogs.
And I'm sure they were the most lovable.
Kissing me all over my face, climbing my frame, trying to get to me to kiss me. So I'd like you to bring a large black dog.
Okay.
And some puppies and kittens.
Okay.
All at the same time.
Absolutely.
Who do we have out there? Come on in. Are you with Kentucky Shakespeare or are you Nick Koval? Hi, Nick. Hi, Christian.
Hello.
Hey, guys. This is Erica Coghill from Louisville Metro Animal Services.
Nice
Formerly
to
of
meet you all.
32 WLKY. I'm sure you recognize her. Yeah, of course she looks familiar.
Hi.
She and I have been talking about animals. I know you guys are animal lovers, and we'll talk about that when you get on the air before we talk about Governor's School for the Arts and KCA and Kentucky Shakespeare.
Right, and a partridge in a pear tree.
And a partridge in a pear tree. Exactly right. So, Erica, I've talked the whole time that we have been on here today. Is there anything that you would like to talk about? Anything that you'd like to bring up? A message that you have?
Well, I wanted to share some really great news.
Okay.
So we had this dog named Shirley. She's heartworm positive.
Oh.
Sweet, sweet girl. I took her on WHAS for Pet
Great
of
Day
the
Live.
Week. For Pet of the Week.
Let me guess. Angie Fenton.
No, not Angie.
Oh, radio. No,
it,
TV.
It was it was Great Day Live.
Angie didn't come up with that?
No.
What?
Wait, she didn't come up with
The idea of Pet of the Week.
Oh, I'm not sure who came up
it
with
had
that.
to be Angie.
This was in place before I
Angie
got
is
here. I've just
sicker than I am.
Oh, I'm sure. I've heard of just how much of an animal lover she is.
She's incredible. She's got
Yeah.
some of the most wonderful special needs dogs that you could ever imagine. And she
Yeah.
takes, not only does she have an infant and a husband to take care of, but a house full of special needs animals too.
That
Go ahead,
makes
please.
me so happy.
Yeah, she's great.
So this dog named Shirley, she are you laughing at
Boy
her
named
name?
Sue and a dog named Shirley.
She's heartworm positive, and so we took her on WHAS, and we were making a plea, hoping that somebody would come forward that would want to adopt this sweet baby girl.
Yeah.
And she came along with a medical addendum that person would get her the care that she really needed.
Yeah.
Well, right after that, I got off and hopped in my car and headed back to the shelter. This woman beat me to the shelter, and she had watched Shirley and wanted to adopt her. And now Shirley is in a loving home, and she's getting the heartworm treatment that she needs.
Isn't that awesome?
Isn't it great to hear stories like that?
It is incredible. And, I was just looking through the website to try to find another question that I could, ask you and hopefully not, make Christian and Nick and everybody else uncomfortable. But when we're talking about spaying and neutering particularly, it means that we have to prevent an animal from reproducing. Because what happens when animals reproduce in an unwanted fashion is the kennels fill.
Absolutely. It creates more unwanted animals in our community.
Well, look what happened here. You guys actually emptied dozens of kennels. It says 37 dogs, 22 cats, 1 guinea pig, and a partridge in a pear tree were all adopted over the Black Friday to Cyber Monday weekend, which is pretty incredible when you stop to think about it. And right now, you're giving people an opportunity to adopt a pet for an incredible rate. $25
$25 all through the month of December
for a cat or a dog.
for all animals.
Everybody.
Select dogs,
Okay.
and cats or kittens.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I would say go for it because they euthanize 9,000 animals across the country every single day because they don't have a home, and that's a terrible fate for our loving four-legged babies. And we We know that LMAS does everything to prevent that from happening. We want you to continue to be able to do so. And I love the fact that Louisville Metro Animal Services has partnered with the Kentucky Humane Society and Best Friends Animal Society and Zappos for this free pet adoption special, because Zappos has given $1.25 million.
To shelters across the country.
Good Lord.
To more than 100 shelters across the country to make that adoption special possible. It was incredible. And if you go to our website, you'll see the photo I'm talking about. But there was a large line of people outside of our doors even before we opened on Black Friday, comparable to what you were seeing at your big box stores.
Yeah.
So our kennels were nearly emptied at our Animal House Adoption Center. And that is a rare sight there, because since we're an open shelter, we have to accept every animal that comes our way, which many other shelters, they're able to turn animals away if they're starting to get too full. And we're the only open shelter in Jefferson County. So having adoption specials like that is key to saving animals' lives. And we're hearing this first on your show, what I'm about to tell you.
There's the line, by the way.
The Bluegrass Boxer Club has donated a generous amount of money to Louisville Metro Animal Services. And as a result, next week, and we're hearing this first on your show.
Thank God. Take it from Tara's Waggin Wednesday.
Next week, we're going to do another free adoption special.
Oh, good.
And we need sponsors like that to make those free adoptions possible. We would adopt them out free if we could, but the reality is it costs money.
That's right.
To spay, neuter, microchip, bring all of these animals up to date on their shots. So we cannot do that. We're
and
a
then
government-run
hold them.
agency.
Keep them in the
feed
shelter.
them, give them everything they need to remain healthy and happy. And so when businesses or even just individuals come to us with these generous donations, that helps get these animals out of the kennel and into really happy forever homes.
And, I know that over the years, a lot of improvements have been made to Manslick, and the new shelter has been built, but we are all awaiting the day that we can visit Louisville Metro Animal Services on one piece of ground and all combined into one facility where we can actually see side-by-side buildings that are going to take care of animals from the time they are brought in until the time that they are adopted out. And I'm very excited to have you on the job. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in.
Thank you. Can I plug one more thing?
Yes,
before
plug
I leave?
away.
So this coming Saturday is our last day for our Pet Photos with Santa event.
Oh, I love that.
So far, we've raised with our Friends of Metro Animal Services fundraising group $450. It's not a lot of money, but it's enough to make another free adoption special possible. So if you all come out on Saturday, this is the last day for the event, and you take part in our Pet Photos with Santa event, it's $15 for a photo. You get a photo printed out on the spot, and you have multiple photos emailed to you. $15. All the proceeds go to our shelter animals. We're going to use that money to have another free adoption special.
And it's Santa Paws.
Santa Paws.
Which is the most important thing. One of Santa's helpers of all little furry creatures, Santa Paws, is going to be part of the weekend, and get out there and take a look at all of the things that you can find on the website. Erica Coghill, thank you so much for being with us. Come back soon.
Thank you so much, Tara.
It's the end of Waggin Wednesday, but so much more is to come right here on Crescent Hill Radio. And the most important part of the day is taking care of your dog, like Nick Pay does.
I wake up 9:30. The sun is shining and I'm feeling fine.